TF team proves their ability to maintain consistency, the community creates an East Asian themed event, and an Overwatch map is seemingly ported to Team Fortress 2 on this month's episode of TFNN. The Saxies came and went this last month, and at the time, I was watching almost every submission, as I've done every year since the Saxies started. And I've gotta say, the skill being shown in this last year was astonishing. So much so that there were more amazing submissions than could even be nominated. I'm saying that any of these would have won overall if submitted only a few years ago. However, to no one's surprise, Agent Gun won. Funny story, my 7-year-old nephew loved Agent Gun. I think I've seen it 100 times. But seriously, after seeing some of the production assets and work being done in Agent Gun, it's surprising that the team has not been hired. Throughout March and what we've had of April thus far, the Team Fortress team pushed 5 updates in 2 groups. The first we've already discussed, being the Blue Moon competitive update launched on the 28th of March. Blue Moon was followed by 3 bug fix patches, all on the 29th and 30th, and the last update was 2 weeks later on the 12th of April. This brought significantly shorter queue times in both competitive and casual, along with changes to abandon rules, the HUD, and general quality of life improvements. By the way, an unlisted update was caught on the 13th, which, as far as anyone can tell, did very little. A changelog was found, but it's optional. It's kind of weird. Remember Frontline and Mayan? Well, there is now a 3rd community event similar in size and scope called Journey to the East. Programmed and contributed to by all of the names you see on screen, Journey to the East is not only a community event, but a contest as well, with money to be won. Ending June 30th, anyone can submit cosmetics, weapons, war paints, and map props to be judged by a panel of workshop experts. I have been following and will be following this event closely, and I will likely be making another video on this one if you're interested. On April 21st and 22nd, Hugs.tf will be taking place. Hugs.tf is an annual charity live stream to benefit Special Effect, a charity aiming to help those with disabilities play video games. Even though the event isn't for another few days, donations have started, and donations of $14 or more in both TF items or cash will reward the donator with this Hugs.tf medal. More info on both community events will be seen in the description below. Lastly, it's time for this month's TF2 Community Catch-Up. The 5 community maps I've picked this month are Payload Skirmish. This is a geometric 1-to-1 remake of Watchpoint Gibraltar from Overwatch into Team Fortress 2. However, only using TF2 assets. This map is surreal, as I find that not only the map plays well with TF classes, but is also kind of speaking to how similar the core design philosophy between both games truly is. It's not perfect though, as some areas are oddly placed due to the movement differences between classes, and overall optimization from the creator is unacceptable. It definitely needs work in that department. Second is Koth Rocket. This map is the most amateur of the group, and although most of this map is incredibly basic and very dark, it's included on this list because of the point. This multi-tiered layout with a suspended point is incredible and has been a blast to play on. Whoever the creator is, brighten up the entire map, especially inside. I imagine some kind of nighttime map where the center point is being fully lit, beaming out light and casting rays and shadows on everything. And also, this invisible wall needs to go. It's confusing. Third is King of the Hill Ice Tower. This Koth map is large and incredibly detailed, but begs to be played on a full 24-player server, as a standard 6s or 9s will leave much of the outer areas completely empty. To put it another way, this is like a 5 CP map with only a single point in the center. That said, there is some great verticality with cover intermitted with movement areas and excellent art passing. Fourth is Payload Race 2 Cart. It's just Payload Race in 2 forts, starting in battlements and ending in the opposite team's intel room. It's dumb, but really fun. There are issues though. 2 Fort is already Choke City, and shoving a cart in there really makes some of the halls impossible to get through. Also, the map separates the teams so much that every map devolves into a game of who can stack a full ×5 the quickest. Lastly, King of the Hill Preposterous. This was my favorite map of the month. Period. The theming of the map being a facility built on top of a waterfall is really well made, and the enclosed point makes for some intense mid-fights. Now, the general layout and the actual asset placements are basic, but this is obviously still a beta map. King of the Hill Preposterous plays superbly. Really recommend. And yes, the Valve News Network Community Catch-Up server is back with these 5 new maps replacing the old ones, along with end-of-map voting, so it will not stick to the same map 24/7. Now, what about last month's maps? Well, I'm pleased to announce a second server, generously provided by my friends at Fallout Hosting. It is called the Community Catch-Up Archives. After each month of TFNN, the previous month's maps will be removed of the main server server and placed into this server, along with, map voting. IPs for both servers down below, and an incredible thanks to Fallout Hosting for making this possible. Lastly, I sent along everyone's questions from last month to the Team Fortress team, and I will let everyone know if and when they are answered on both my Twitter and my new Steam group, links to those down below. But for this month, get your questions in right now, and upvote any other questions that you would like to see answered. I'll forward them up and try my hardest to get them answered. I love you guys.